Well, folks, welcome to the Go for Diamond call this evening. It is, what date are we right now? February
11th.
February 11th.
It's my daughter's birthday.
Yeah, exactly. It's Bianca's birthday this today. And Valentine's Day is on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So I know Tammy and I planned a really wonderful evening or day. Is it Thursday or Wednesday? It's Thursday.
He's confused. I think he's still in holiday mode.
Yeah, it is. So, folks, I know that there's some opportunity presentations going on all across the nation. In fact, it's all over the world. And may I encourage you guys to go to the Calendar on Active team and book your events. Obviously, if you want, it's a private event. I appreciate you don't really need to book it. But if you do want your team to be aware of what's going on and you want your in-homes to be available to the general public, and most people won't show up to an in-home if they don't know you. And of course, you don't necessarily need to put an address. You can just put a phone number to contact you if there is an interest to attend. We never know in our days. But the reality is that it's always will serve you well if you let people within your organization aware that there is an event in your area. So please do refer to the Active Team calendar to see where the events are. So that way you don't miss any of the in-homes or meetings that are coming. I know there's some in Burlington, there's some in Hamilton, there's some in London, there's some in Mississauga, there's some in Toronto, Ottawa. So do take advantage of that. It's also interesting because we have associate like Paul Testament that's right now in Nigeria, building his business there. Talk about duplication. I know Kelly, you're going to be doing the same very soon. And folks, you don't need to go to Africa to be successful. At the end of the day, you got to start in your own backyard. Like Tammy and I say often is that you want to work local, but you can think global because we are a global nation. In Canada, we have probably every single cultures in the world that are available within the area code, especially in the GTA area. So this evening, what Tammy and I want to talk about is prospecting. And prospecting is a very, very critical part of your business. Often people are looking to build a business like this, and sometimes people get a little discouraged, and for good reasons. But at the end of the day, you always have to ask yourself, what are the activities that you're applying on a daily basis? Are they money-making activities? Well, this is one of them, and it is called prospecting. Prospecting is one of the very first stage in warming up your contacts. And one of the things that, again, you want to keep in mind is we're going to be going through the next few modules coming in a few weeks in the prospecting aspect, the inviting aspect, which is a second step, and the third step is following up. And it's a circle that keeps repeated. And you'll notice that the word trust is in the center because it's all about building trust in the process of connecting with prospects. And you will also keep in mind that, as Tammy and I shared today, recognize that we're not going to be telling you to go and talk about your business immediately or sell your products immediately. It's very possible that it may happen because it might be a great opportunity or a good reason for you to talk about your products. But often when you're talking to the cold market, it could be anything. As long as there's a connection between you and the prospect and you're warming up to the prospect to you, and eventually sharing the information that will lead to more interest on the product, the opportunity. But remember one thing as we go through this training is if you want to build a business, you got to treat it as a business. If you treat this business as a disease, in other words, treating diseases, you're not going to go far. Because at the end of the day, folks, we are a distribution network. It just happened that we have some of the best product, I believe anyway. Tammy and I do believe, and many of you on the call I sure feel the same way we do, is we believe we probably have the most important nutraceutical supplements in the world. And I know there's a lot of things out there, but I know that what we have is one of the most important. So, but understand that if you want to make money in this business, you need to understand that there is two sides. There's the product and the opportunity, and you need to weigh both in the conversation. And Tammy and I will give you some examples as we go through the prospecting aspect.
I want you to, if you're taking notes right now, I want you to write this word down on the piece of paper because this one's critical, and it is patience. So many people come into the network marketing profession and they just want it yesterday. And you got to understand, in any business, it takes time to build relationships. I've been in traditional business before. Maybe some of you are in traditional business now, and you know to build up your clients, it's all about getting to know them, getting to know their needs and their wants and their desires, and that will take time. So understand that in the prospecting paradigm. So you might connect with somebody the first time and you just have a total connection. Maybe you have something in common. And maybe there's a reason to meet up and have a coffee in that conversation. And and in some cases, you may get right to the point where you start having conversation. That person just got downsized. They're looking for a job. There's an opportunity right there to come in and just say, have you ever been in business for yourself before? Have you ever considered business? And then a whole conversation will come out of that. And then there's a series, you want to send them a couple videos, and then you want to follow up, make sure you have a third party with you. And as you can see that paradigm growing, it could be, 5, 6, 8, 10 exposures. And as you get better, as your posture grows and you develop more skills in moving people faster, then you'll condense the amount of exposures. But that takes time, okay? So that's why we're asking you to be patient in this relationship building, because once the relationship is there, they will do what you ask. They will follow any guidelines that you send them to. So, so that's a paradigm.
So personal relationship drives the process, and this is what you need to understand, is the relationship. It's all about the relationship that you build with that person. See, as I stated earlier, prospecting is a critical part of building your business. That means we, network marketing professionals, and if you don't feel you are, I assure you that you will over time, is that need to get out and shake the bushes. That is prospecting, right? So there is 8 simple steps to kickstart that process into gear. Now, folks, I just want to repeat something that Tammy stated, very important. Be patient. I know we live in a society that we want everything yesterday. And I know that money is pressing for many people. I get that. I very much understand that. But you need to give yourself the chance to go through the process and learn and fall, make mistakes. And remember, you will deal with negativity. It's part of the process. It's the way that you handle yourself, handling the negativity, that will define your results.
All right, so first, you need to decide that you need to prospect, and you're going to do it. You have to want to do it. That's the key. I think the best thing is service to many. We know we have a great product. We know we have a great opportunity. You just need to decide you want to share that with other people. So you need to decide today that you're going to do it.
Exactly. So the second step out of the 8 steps we're going to talk about is select a format to use. We got teleprospecting, in other words, making phone calls. Are we speaking to one of our associates in Ghana who's working really hard? And, he's been working hard, and it has not been easy for him. And he's taking classes, and, and what he did is he went ahead and he printed his entire Rolodex from his contact on his phone. There was hundreds and hundreds of contacts. So obviously, in this case, we call it teleprospecting, where you're calling people. And then there's the face-to-face prospecting, one-on-one, two-on-one. And there's the social media prospecting, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. And I know many of you are starting to have great success. And because of that, you've made some great contacts, and some of you are traveling around the world because of that. But understand that there's 3 different aspects. So don't think that I don't think there's any other options, right? Generally, when you think about all the different ways to prospect, they categorize on one of those 3. And we recommend you do them all. So don't think that you're not good on a computer, you can't do it. No, absolutely not. I mean, learning how to use Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn is just like learning how to use your cell phone. It's just the fact that you need to take the activity, do the action, and learn the process. And the thing, folks, is, as I said earlier, you've got to go out and shake the bushes. You've got to go out and talk to people. And don't feel you need to talk about Max. Again, I want to reiterate on that. Just go out and connect with people. Sometimes just walking and smiling at someone. Tammy and I, every day, we go out and we do our training here in our condo, and we meet people that we've never met before, and we just say good morning with a smile. And often, sometimes, that could be the one gesture that really made that person smile, the only time during the day. You know, so you never know what could come out of just a smile and to make a connection with someone.
Absolutely. So how many opportunities to talk to people do you miss every day? I know that every single one of us miss opportunities every day. And I think the reason why that happens is we're so busy thinking about what we need to do, the future, or thinking of something of the past. And people are not in the moment in knowing what they need to do in building their business. So think about that tomorrow when you wake up in the morning. How many people are you going to talk to? You know, whether it's a phone call, whether it's meeting somebody belly to belly, are you going to stand in the lineup at the coffee shop and just text on your phone? Or are you going to turn around and say hello to the person standing behind you in the line and strike up a conversation? It's totally up to you, right? I'm telling you, people are silently suffering all the time, and in their head, they're constantly thinking if there was something out there that could just help them generate an extra income stream, if there was something out there that could help my mom get better, or whatever the situation is. You gotta open up and connect with people. Social media, phenomenal platform, no excuses. You know, so many people make excuses not to talk to people. Oh, but there's a snowstorm. There's an ice storm coming. You know, the weather's not good today. No excuses. Just go on social media, because people who live in your local market, guess what? They also don't want to go out today. Do you know how many presentations you could do online if people are open? Or how many videos you could send because they're in the same boat as you? They don't want to go out for whatever excuse. So these are great opportunities for you to connect with people. So don't miss these opportunities.
I totally agree. So here's what you should have in the back of your mind as you are connecting, as you are warming up. See, you need to focus on building the relationship and trust. This is what I said earlier. Warm them up on the first call, right? So you do not need to know all the details. Your job is to find the three N's. Obviously the name, and the very important is the need. And of course the number. Could be an email, but generally I prefer a number. But again, sometimes you may have to adjust to whatever the prospect is willing to give to you. And often what they're willing to give to you will have a lot to do with the relationship and the trust that you are creating in the conversation you're having with them. And again, as you move on in time and you practice, I assure you, you will become better and better and better. So the key is to ask the good questions. The example is form, family, occupation, recreation, money. These are all the different aspects or topics that could come up from a conversation. And this is what you have to have in mind. And one thing that's very important as you are doing the prospecting aspect is you need to listen. Remember, we have one mouth, two ears. Spend more time listening than talking. I understand if you're presenting, it's a different situation, different environment here. But when you are talking to someone, for example, Tammy, tonight we just had a quick lunch here, a quick supper before our call, and there was these two young ladies talking to each other, and one of them was doing 99.9% of the conversation, while the other one couldn't put a word into it. She did try, and once in a while she succeeded and was able to share. right? So you don't want to be like that, right? You don't want to talk.
I,
till,
me, I.
Exactly, right? Because again, your prospect will not connect with you. They will feel it's all about you. So these are, again, very important clues as you're connecting with them. Make it about them. And once you trigger a question, let them talk. When they start talking about something they care about, you will know. You'll notice that they will light up. The words will come easy to them. They won't stop talking. They're going to want to share. So for you is you want to acknowledge and absorb what they're telling you. And through the things they're telling you, there's going to be a lot of stuff in common that you can recognize as, here's a need, here's a need, here's another need, here's one. Oh, that need, I can see that's really important for that person. Once you know that, then when you follow up in a prospecting aspect, you are better equipped to give them what they need. And that's what's important in building your business. It's the difference between the professionals and the people that are new at this. The professional will focus on satisfying their needs. And if you satisfy their need, their interests will grow without any force, any pressure, or any, you understand what I'm saying, right? It'll come easy. They want the information. Again, the example, when Tammy and I were in Puerto Rico, how many people that we signed up?
3.
Including Marcus?
No, that was 4 with the customer.
Yeah, so plus, so we even signed up the guy who actually organized the training session that we went. We were there to do some investment training, and we signed up the trainer, the guy who owns the company, as a customer, right? So how did that happen? Again, folks, is that there was a need. There was also a relationship and trust over time that now, at the end of the day, do you remember, Tammy? He came to me and he says, can you bring me to the website so I can place my order?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool when they come to you and they say, can I place my order? Tell me where I need to go. This has to do, again, with the fact that we focused on the need. We created some clear value that satisfied that need, and immediately that need was met. And this is usually what happens. We just happen to have some amazing products. But remember, we get compensated for telling others about it. So keep that in mind as you are prospecting and you are following the 3 N's.
I just want to add the name for 1 second, because I don't know about you, but I have a difficult time remembering people's names. And it's important for people that you remember their names. And if you're a person that's challenged, one of the things that helped me over time is once they tell me their name, if it's a different name, because we meet so many people in so many cultures, I ask them to spell it for me, to me. And so now I'm able to distinguish how to say the name, and I'll say their name back to them a couple times in the conversation. And it makes them feel good, and at the same time, I'm just repeating it so that I remember the name. This is critical in building relationships, okay, is to remember people's names. So the 4th is to determine how often that you will need to actually prospect per week. And the truth is, we need to be prospecting daily, okay? You need to be, this has got to be part of your DNA. I mean, Chris and I are just out there. We just naturally connect with people because we know that we have something that is such a need in the marketplace, opportunity and products, of course. So it's to build that up where you're naturally doing it and set a goal. It's important to set a goal, right? So if you say you're going to talk to 5 people a day and you set that goal for 5 people and you talk to 3 or 4 people, that's good. See, if you wouldn't have put any targets for yourself, most likely you would hit under the bar because it's not important because you haven't set a target for that. It's critical to have a target on how many people you're going to talk to, how often you're going to be connecting with people. Don't make I work a full-time job an excuse, because before I was full-time in network marketing, I had a very busy business life. But in between all that, there's ways of connecting with people. So don't make any excuses of not connecting with people. And number 5, the 5th is to begin now, is make a decision to do it right now. And don't put off, because if you put off today, you're going to put off tomorrow, you're going to put off the next day, and it all becomes a habit. So make it a habit and transform that to doing rather than putting off. And out there every day connecting with people, serving people, helping people make a better quality of life by offering them a great product and an opportunity. So how do you start a conversation? And that's easy for me. And it wasn't easy at the beginning. I was always afraid to connect with people. I was always worried about what people might think about me, talking to a stranger, because it's the way I was brought up, and I'm sure some of you were brought up too that way. So it's smile. Smile at people. When you smile at somebody, I can guarantee you that they're going to smile back unless they're thinking of something else. And, they might be looking right at you, but they're not looking at you because their mind is off somewhere else. But most people, if they're in the moment and you smile at them, they're going to smile back. And find a way to compliment them, okay? Compliment them. People lack compliments. I'm sure you're going to agree with me on that one. People lack compliments. So when you compliment them, it kind of makes them feel good. It kind of throws them off a bit. And then make a connection by asking a question. I like to ask questions based on the environment that I'm in. For example, if I'm outside, the weather's usually a good conversation. If you're in a coffee shop, talking about coffee, talking about, standing in the lineup. There's so many things that you can have conversations about. Just get creative and start practicing, because the more you practice, the better you're going to get at all of this. And then once you open up the conversation, when they start speaking, open your ears, because they're going to give you clues on things that are going on in their life. And if you don't listen, you're going to miss out on the clues. Most people are thinking about the next question. I know I used to be like that when I started. Now I listen to their needs and their desires. I read their body language, see what they want and what they want to do, Based on questions, I'll move them towards these needs by asking another question. So be interested. That's the most important thing. They're the most important person standing in front of you. So don't be looking off or looking down at your phone. You want to be interested in them and not interesting or swaying the other way, looking at other things around or at your phone.
Absolutely. So let's use a little analogy here, looking at the seagull here. His name is Sam the seagull. And Sam the seagull loves chips or French fries. I mean, I know we live right around the beach here in the Daytona Beach. Sorry, guys, I don't mean to rub this up. If you live where there's snow, it just happened where we are now. And there's a lot of seagulls. I mean, they're all over and at a moment you get someone with a piece of, bread and he throw it. I mean, it's crazy how aggressive they are, and they want what you have. Wouldn't that be great as you build your business, and that would be like your max business, and the seagull would be your prospects? And folks, I'm telling you, it can be that way if you handle this correctly and you attend to their needs. See, the challenge that we have often is we bury the excitement and the beauty of our opportunity by overwhelming your prospect with data. Too much science, too much facts, too many details. And especially if you become maybe a little too salesy, right? Before the need has been created. And people will look at your business just the way you would look at this beautiful Porsche. I assure you, if this car is clean, it is hot item. But when you look at it that way, I mean, you don't even want to go around it, right? You'll cross the street on the other side to avoid it. And that's usually what happens with the newbies in the business where they're desperate and getting people into their organization. And folks, it's okay to be that way. It's normal. I mean, we all have been there. We just want you to be aware of the steps that you need to go through to have success in your business. So what happens is your prospect gets a little overwhelmed. And of course, they're not going to be, open at that point, especially if they have pre-negative knowledge on what is going on with this opportunity. So what you need to keep in mind here as you are prospecting is you want to just flow the information, starting with maybe warming up to your prospect. Get your prospect to warm up to you, and maybe plant a few seeds as to maybe why you're looking at this, or maybe that you have another stream of income, or that you feel so much better and it just happened that the company compensate us for telling about whatever area. And these are the areas we're going to talk about when we start talking about the inviting process. But the thing is that you don't want to create stress by having expectations. Oh, what if he's not interested? Oh, that person would be so good, but what if I mess it up, right? See, that's the problem in this business, is often people have high expectations every time they talk to a prospect, and I assure you the prospect can probably smell it or feel it. And often it goes back with the image of the car, right? So what you want to do, often I share, is being like the waitress or the waiter at the restaurant, right? Where you're simply asking the person in the morning, for example, if they want coffee. I'm sure every one of you have had breakfast somewhere, and someone come by and said, "Do you want coffee?" And I'm sure if you said, "No, not this morning," the person was not depressed because you didn't want any coffee. They're not attached to the outcome. And this is how you have to keep in mind as you build your business. Don't be attached to the outcome. If they're interested, wonderful. If they're not, hey, no problem. There is a lot of folks looking. And sometimes we come across the negative folks that are so negative that you stick them in a dark room and they start developing like a picture. You know, it's just, some people are like that. They're just negative beyond negative, and that's fine. You don't need to try to convert those folks. There is a lot of them that are looking and open, right? So again, don't get attached to the outcome. Your job is to sort and share the information with your prospect until you find someone who warms up to the idea of more information.
For sure. And you don't want to be desperate in this business, because you want to be able to work with people that are hungry and eager, that are influential, because if you start trying to convince people and bringing and dragging people in and promising things that you don't even know if you can deliver, I mean, these are bad signs in building this business. And many people do it because they're so desperate. Don't be desperate in your business, okay? You want to attract people that are hungry and that are looking. And you'll know, because they're going to ask you questions. They're going to say, okay, I'm ready to get started. You'll know who they are, okay? So 6 is to use some form of a tracking sheet. You've got the Max Associate Action Report that is critical in building your business and staying focused and on track, and to be able to go back and retrack some of the stuff you've done the week before, a month before, to see if you're in progress. And it's critical to have a partner that's going to keep you accountable to that and to help you grow with that as well.
Absolutely. And again, folks, the Max Action Report can be found on Active Team under Documents, and under Documents, Canada, USA, and then you select English. And from there, you will notice another directory called Document. And under Document, there's a whole set of directories in there, and one of them will say
Max Associate Action Sheet.
Yes. Okay. And if you don't know where to find it, just connect with one of us or your upline leader, and we'll make sure that you can access that information. Number 7 is be sure you have a good follow-up system, folks. Because the fact is that if you don't have a good follow-up system, you will meet people, connect with people, and you will lose your leads. It will slip through your fingers, right? So the follow-up call is the magic trick that turns the business card into money. right? It's really important is 90% of your business will come from the follow-up. And if you meet all these wonderful people, but you do not keep track of what has been going on, you will lose sight and track of your prospects. And this is one of the reasons when you may feel that you're talking to a lot of people, but nothing's coming through. It's because you are not following through in the follow-up and you are not organized with your contact. This is a very important part of the business, okay? And moving forward is number 8 is simply keep at it, right? You want to stay focused on the activities that we just shared with you here, right? You need to keep going, right? You may not be there yet, but the thing is you got to realize that you're closer than you were yesterday. And that is a fact. It's an absolute fact. So, you know, one of the things as an activity I can share with you here, maybe after this call tonight or maybe later on, I recommend to do it right after the call, because if you don't, you probably will never do it. Write down 10 good questions that will help you discover people's interests. Just think about it. Maybe even as you go to bed, think about it. And maybe write them down in the morning or write them down before you go to bed, right? And you'll find that as you're doing this, then you may want to practice with a partner. Call your upline leader, or maybe call someone in your family or your team and start practicing role-playing with those questions and ask them, how do you feel about how I asked the questions? Do you have any recommendation, right? And at the end, what's very important here is that you want to stay connected. Stay connected through the social media environment. Now, I know Tammy has to step out here. She has to get ready for her call. And as we finish this call here, guys, I just want to I'm going to share something with you. Very often, I get associates that are asking me, Chris, I feel down today. What do you do to keep yourself going? And this happens often, right? And I know some of you I spoke today. There was a few. And one of the things, folks, that I recommend, and I started doing this myself, is get yourself a journal. And you know what? I'm going to make a copy of my little journal as an example on the WhatsApp group. If you're not part of that WhatsApp group, let me know. My WhatsApp ID is my phone number, which is 416-991-8885. That's my WhatsApp number. Send me a quick message saying, listen, can you send me that examples of your journal that you shared on the call? I'll be happy to do that for you. So the fact here is, here's what it says. And folks, I'm telling you, it's really, really critical. Is in the journal every day, it's asking me to write 3 things that I'm grateful for in the morning. And also 3 things that you want to write, what would make my day great? 3 things. And then 10 things about you. I am. For example, I am structured, I'm organized, I'm committed, I'm focused, I'm happy, I'm in shape, I am strong, I'm a leader, I'm a winner, I'm a visionary. Right? So write these things down. And at evening, when your day's over, is 3 amazing things that happened today. 3 amazing things happened today. And how could I have made today even better? And if you write this down for the next 3 months, 90 days, you might be amazed on the transformation. So folks, I just wanted to leave you with this. Again, I want to thank you for signing in this evening on the call, and I hope that you learned a thing or two in reference to prospecting. Next week, we'll be talking about inviting. Have yourself a wonderful evening, and bye for now.